this year. De'Aaron Fox will have a breakout year this year. This will be his first ever All-Star year. I'm calling it. Last season on a pretty mediocre Kings team, he averaged 25 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 7 assists. Now, I've been seeing a lot of workout tapes and videos. I think De'Aaron, hopefully with a better squad, still learning how to play together. Hopefully another really good year from Tyrese Haliburton. Maybe Marvin Bagley sort of finally start to find his own way. Rashard Holmes is returning to the team as well. They're getting Davion Mitchell, who's a really scrappy perimeter player as well, alongside Tyrese and De'Aaron. I think the Kings are, not going to have a crazy year, but are going to have a good enough year. A good enough year. They have De'Aaron Fox a little bit more on the radar, and I think he will make an all-star spot this year. Now, am I super confident in that? Definitely not. But again, at the beginning of this video, I'm just going to be naming off players who I just think have a better chance of having a breakout year. And I think De'Aaron Fox might be number one on that for me. He looks like he's improving. For De'Aaron Fox to even be a really great player is for him to just develop a jump shot. And if he just gets that down, he is a really good all-around type of player now. Obviously, with basketball IQ comes, years and years and years in the NBA. Who do you play alongside as well? And obviously, we know the Kings aren't really that great of a franchise, so I say this upcoming year is going to be good enough, just good enough for De'Aaron to get that recognition. He's going to have an all-star year, mark my word. And another potential first-time all-star, and I think he is. This player probably has a better chance than De'Aaron Fox, just based off of popularity, but LaMelo Ball will have another even better year than he did last year as a rookie. It kind of always happens, but he will be an all-star next year, mark my words. LaMelo Ball last year averaged basically 16 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists. Absolutely crazy stat line for a rookie on a not-so-great team. The team only improved and will only continue to improve as long as they stick together. I love the backcourt, that scary scoring backcourt of LaMelo and Terry Rozier. You add in Book Knight, Miles Bridges becomes a way better player. You got the lob threat ability of Kai Jones, having a more veteran centerpiece around. Mason Plumlee. It's gonna be definitely a lot more of a well-rounded team. So I think with that, kind of like with De'Aaron Fox and the Kings, it will improve the chances of LaMelo Ball being an all-star. Plus, last year I think he was also hurt. Was he not? I think he was. So I think with that as well, LaMelo Ball will have a very good year this year. Potentially, in me guessing that he will be an all-star. Is that too crazy? I'm not too sure. Obviously, defense is what LaMelo Ball is really lacking. But again, that's just going to take a couple of years in the NBA to get really used to the defense and the scheming of things and everything like that. So give him some time. He definitely has a knack for stealing the ball. I mean, last year he averaged nearly 2 steals a game, about half a block. So he's definitely doing okay. He did average about 3 turnovers, which is definitely not good. But for such a flamboyant, crafty playmaker that he is, that's actually not too bad. So, LaMelo Ball, I think is another player who's destined to have, a 22-ish, give or take, point per game scoring outing. I think he's just going to look better. The Hornets are just going to be better. I think LaMelo Ball has a breakout year and becomes an all-star for the first time. Next up on my super random listing of breakout players this upcoming year, I have another potential all-star, kind of like on the same boat as LaMelo and De'Aaron. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, yes, SGA, does have the potential to be, yes, his first time as an all-star. Last season he averaged about 24 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists. Absolutely insane stat line for a 6'6" point guard. That's really cool to see. Now, obviously, again, like De'Aaron, like LaMelo, his team play is what's really going to place him where he should be, at least in the all-star spot, and the Thunder are definitely the worst of those teams, and I think if they can even stay sometime at the season's maybe halfway point at the trade deadline. But as of right now, I think him being maybe not the go-to guy, because I mean there's him, there's Siakam still on the team. I think Gary Trent Jr. is going to be another name on this list. They kind of go hand in hand. OG and Gary Trent Jr. Both those guys are going to have really good breakout years. Maybe both of them at the same time averaging over 20 points per game. I can see it happening. They're both very good two-way players. Can both hit a three. I think last year OG shot 39% from three, knocking down around 3 a game. That's some big time shooting from a guy who just a year or two ago was just known as a defender. He's been starting to be somewhat like a Kawhi Leonard type of player, but if he continues on this path, it's looking more and more like a truth. So that's pretty terrifying. Very exciting though if you're a Toronto Raptors fan. Same thing with Gary Trent Jr., a very good two-way player. I think both of those guys are going to have a very good year this upcoming year. Next up again might also be a sort of no-doubt player, because we say this every year that this guy needs to improve. This guy needs to have a breakout year. Well, last year we saw something very close to that, and I think even this upcoming year can even improve off of that. It's Michael Porter Jr. Now again, like I said, everyone keeps saying Michael Porter Jr. is the next one up. Look out for Michael Porter Jr. Last season he did average 19 points per game, almost a block, almost a steal, and 7 rebounds a game. He shot, 45% from three last year, which is absolutely insane. I remember last year in the playoffs, he was looking really good as the second option for the Nuggets for a little bit there. So I think well-rounding his game, mostly on the defensive end, is what's really going to separate Michael Porter Jr. from being, a third, maybe even second option for this Denver Nuggets team. It kind of revolves around how good Jamal Murray can come back from his injury, or just being a solid role piece for this team. So, with that being said, I think it is him being a reliable second option as long as Michael Porter Jr. As long as Jamal Murray is out of the lineup, I can see that happening. I can see him averaging maybe upwards of 20 plus point per game. His shooting stroke is absolutely phenomenal. And I really hate comparing these players, but Michael Porter Jr.'s sort of offensive game really reminds me a lot of Kevin Durant. Not efficiency-wise or, the way he scores, but how he scores. He's a 6'10" small forward who can handle the ball extremely well, who can shoot above a bunch of different players, who has a very good shooting stroke from three, even mid-range, can drive by everyone. He looks really good on offense now. Facilitating, he averaged 1 assist a game last year. Really bad. Defensively, shows sparks, but most of the time is, I don't want to say lazy, but definitely picks and chooses when he does play defense. So as long as he improves on those things, again, a very scary 6'10" Kevin Durant-like scoring player. That's some pretty great potential. So I think we'll have another improving year of Michael Porter Jr. I wouldn't say a breakout year, but he's going to look really good. So Michael Porter Jr., another name. You can guess the theming of this sort of second tier sort of names I'm naming off. They're mostly younger players who are sort of in that almost there type of area, sort of with OG and Gary Trent, Michael Porter Jr., RJ Barrett. I feel like is another player who is almost destined to have a breakout year one of these years, and I think it could be next season, because this is going to be the Knicks. Could be one of their best years of their entire, existence. Obviously not winning a title or going to the finals, but in the last handful of years last year, the Knicks were finally relevant. So this year is going to be very important to them. Obviously with adding Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier being very good pieces, they're looking to build on the success of the regular season. And I really hope that RJ Barrett, even though, like I just said, they have Kemba and Evan and even Julius Randle, they still have Derrick Rose. I would love to see RJ be maybe that go-to perimeter scoring guard for this team. Last season he did average 18 points, about 6 rebounds and 3 assists. He did look really good. In the regular season he also averaged 40% from 3, shooting about 2 a game. But not bad, if I do say so myself. So I do say that that sometimes he does seem a little standoffish. He doesn't really want the spotlight. He really deferred a lot to Julius Randle and Derrick Rose and players like that, which is fine. I mean, I get that, but I really hope at least one of these years he finally grows into that guard player that we all know he can be. Who can be that maybe close to 25 point per game scoring RJ Barrett. Now, does he need to be that? No. Do I want him to be that? No. I just want to see improvement all around and just be that go-to guy for them scoring-wise when they need him to be. He did play some pretty good defense when he was playing on that Knicks squad last year, which is obviously sort of the Knicks, I guess, new thing. They're a really good defensive team now, so keep that up. Add a little bit more of a go-to scorers mentality. RJ's gonna look really nice next year. I can feel it. I can see it happening. RJ Barrett is another player I'm guessing maybe to have a really good year next year. Okay, I have a couple more super random names. A player I have been hearing a little bit of chit-chat and chatter around being a very much improved player, and it's why they are clearing a path for him on their team, trading away players, releasing players just to make time for this guy. It's Nicholas Claxton from the Brooklyn Nets. Yes, they traded, Jared Allen, DeAndre Jordan. They released, big man, what's his name? Julio Okafor. They're clearing way for Nicholas Claxton, and I've been seeing places where they are very impressed of his improvement. He will be the starting center for them. Maybe. I mean, there's always that argument of like Blake Griffin, LaMarcus Aldridge, Paul Millsap even, but I really like to see a very nice, big, 7-foot athletic rim running guy to play alongside of, KD in the paint, because KD's going to be a power forward next year again, and then with Harden throwing lobs, that's going to be amazing for them. So I hope to see Nicholas Claxton in the starting lineup. Now, what is surprising about him is he only averaged about 6 points, 5 rebounds, and under an assist a game. He also averaged 1 block, which isn't bad, and almost a steal. So he's definitely there. His body frame looks really good. He looks like a traditional rim running, blocking big. That's going to be really nice for them. So I feel like he's not going to have a crazy stat sheet stuffer type of year, but he will be extremely important to this roster. So that's why I see him having a breakout year as a player. Not so much as, this guy's going to average, 15 and 10. Nothing like that, but he will be very, very, very important to this team. Nicholas Claxton, watch out for him. Also, another reason why I want you guys to comment down below some players that you can think about is because you might think of more not so well-known players on your favorite teams, and I'm doing one for my favorite team right now, so make sure you do one for your own favorite team if you want, and we can discuss it down there, and it's going to be really cool. So, for Portland, I feel like Nassir He played